What's up, guys? I'm Stuart from GGF, and we are here at the ThermalTake booth at CES 2023, and I have ThermalTake Mike here. And what are we going to be checking out today?
Hey man, well here we're back. We're back finally, CES 23, and as always with ThermalTake, we got case, power, and cooling, and we got some pretty nice mods here as well to check out.
Awesome, awesome. So what we're going to do is we'll check out some cases, some other bits and pieces, fans, PSUs, and then we'll have a look at these mods. So let's check them out. All right, so taking a look at these cases here. Now these things are huge. Just have a look at this. So this is a CTE C750, then they have a 700, and then they have a T500 down below. Now both of these come in, or all of these come in an option for tempered glass or air, and that's something I really do like because I don't know, a few years ago, everything was tempered glass. Right. Everyone forgot.
Right. And it was just like, I think we all went pretty crazy on the glass for the most part, and now we're kind of coming back to a little balance of both airflow and glass.
Yeah, exactly, and it's great to see. Like, I don't mind the tempered glass on obviously the side panel, but having it options on the front to be air or for filters, and then of course tempered glass, which is nice. So if you want to talk about maybe the 750 first, and then we'll go over the 700 and then the T500 as well.
Yeah. So starting with the C750, it's the biggest of the series here, and of course when we say big, us here at ThermalTake, it's definitely big, supporting up to 4 locations that would do triple 140 or 420 millimeter radiators. Now, this really adds a lot, and it also gives more options to the case because of the fact that you have a radiator mount on the back. This, of course, causes the motherboard to not just be recessed, but also rotated as well, giving the graphics card a natural vertical mount.
So now, looking at this motherboard layout, I can see that it's rotated, all your I/O is shooting up. Now, is that the only way that this motherboard can be installed in this case?
Yeah, so the way the motherboard is set, it is locked in that rotated thing, but we did take that into consideration with first giving plenty of room for connection length, as well as being able to do a nice routing across the top, down the back, and out for the cable management.
Okay, yep. So that's certainly something different, and that's the same throughout all these 3 different models of this case. They all have that rotated layout. And by doing that, I guess it does give you the option to have your spot for fans on the rear, the front, the bottom, even the top, and even the side at the back. So that's like 12, 15, 16 fans or something, which is just crazy. Like, I'm thinking about water-cooled builds. I'm seeing like radiator down the bottom, radiator at the front, radiator at the back. You've got a FLT or something on the side.
Right.
It's just crazy the amount of options you can do on this case. So we can probably talk about, so these 2, as I said before, come in the air, the tempered glass, and they are the biggest form factor you have at the moment in this case.
Correct. So moving on to this, we'll also have the C700. Now this takes a step back a little bit, basically going from a 3 fan on the bottom to a 2 fan on the bottom. And then we kept the height of the case, but then we just shrunk it down by taking out the radiator mounting next to the motherboard, towards the back, like the 750.
Okay, yeah, so I can see. So it's just basically just squished in a bit. Yeah. And you've got more of a rectangle sort of on its side rather than the square. And I don't know if we mentioned before, but these are all decked out with 140 millimeter fans. So people might be thinking, well, it's kind of a little bit tight here and there, but there's not many cases you have that you fit a 420, and on the larger one, a 420 down the bottom. So if you deck those out with 360s or 120 more fans, you're going to have a lot more room. And then once again, these are in the, this one is the mesh, and then we have the tempered glass or the glass version over here. So we'll take a look down at this is the T500 Air. So once again, a little bit different design. Straight away I can see it's got the PSU cover there. And any other things you want to talk about?
So like when you consider like the C750, C700, it's more like a chamber concept. You look at the T500, more of like a tower style. Kind of gives me that like tower style feel of it. You got a dual power cover on the bottom with them being modular, so you can remove them to add more cooling options to it. And yeah, of course, we're giving more support for 140s. But I do want to mention as well, with all of the case line here for the CTE, they also do support 120. So we do support, we're just giving you more and more options.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So basically these 2, the T500 Air and the tempered glass, more your standard upright case, but that motherboard once again is shooting straight up with your I/O coming out the rear.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with us trying to centralize the CPU. Moving the CPU into a different location to try to see how that's going to help with the thermals.
Yeah, exactly. It just gives you something different, a new way to build it. It's not going to be everyone's taste. People don't like change, but I guess throughout the year going, people can try different ways, new builds, different way to orientate your radiators. You can even put a reservoir at the back. You don't have to put fans. You can do something funky.
Definitely don't see the rad in the back too often, right? Yeah, and I mean, and the other thing too, gotcha. It's just a nice new look for 2023.
You can see fans from both the back and the front, which is also nice. Moving down to probably these will be the last cases we check out. Now, this is one of my mod builds I've done at the front. We'll take a look at that later on. Not this one exactly, but I do want to have one at the front. Just want to talk about some of the aesthetics and sort of the build, how this one came together.
Yeah. So this one was a lot of fun. I mean, to be able to create a new series for us, literally with the name, the Series 500 is a nice mid-tower ATX form factor AIO case.
Cool. Except the ones at the front, we have are both custom water cooled. But
Yes.
but in saying that, our instructions for those ones out the front were not to mod them too much. Thermaltake guys did want us to chop them up, completely change them because they are a new case, they're a new series, and I completely get that because you want to show the end user kind of some of how the case looks, not sort of cutting it up and redesigning it, and that's how we went about that. And there's also one little cool trick. Do you want to talk about this little panel you can install?
Yeah, so we're going to be offering some optional accessories to the case. We've been doing this on a couple of different models as well, but just adding in a little screen panel to replace that will be sold separately with the case, as well as being able to offer both standard and vertical mounting of the graphics card and this new GPU brace here for those larger graphics cards.
Okay, cool. And then we have this little panel that can pop off, and there's also I believe a dust filter did go in that as well.
Yeah, a lot of them will have the dust filters and everything, mostly magnetic, easy to wash and everything for people that want to use it or remove them for more added airflow benefits.
Yeah, cool. And then we got the swing out door. And then once again, we have the white and the black. One thing we didn't mention in the CTE versions we just checked out before, will they be coming in the white as well?
Yes. Oh, so actually, great question. The CTE series, as you guys saw, was all in the standard black, but we will be making snow editions of all those models as well.
Okay, sweet. Because we always know Thermaltake, pretty much when it comes to your white cases, nearly every lineup you have does come in the white setup.
I think it's nice to have options, and I think a lot of people like to go with a white case or a black case. And even as somebody myself and for you, when you're modding a case and you want to do a dark color or a light color, sometimes it's cool to have a white case to help out with that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just you go with a white case, you have to go with a white GPU or white motherboard. Sometimes it's good to add contrast. You can go with a white case and you can install black components inside to really set them apart. There's just plenty of ways and ideas you can play around with. All right, guys, one last case here is this Tower 200. Everyone knows Thermaltake and their Tower. You got the 100, 500. Which other ones am I missing?
Of course, the Tower 900, Stu. So yeah, this is an early prototype. We'll have more information later on this year about the upcoming Tower 200, but basically with the 100 being mini ITX, the Tower 200 gives you a micro ATX option, a little bit bigger and a little bit of cool changes that we made for better airflow.
Okay, sweet, awesome. Well, that's pretty much it covering the new cases at the Thermaltake 2023 CS booth. We will be back in our next video covering the fans, some PSUs, and some other cool little distros. So we'll see you then.